Hello, everybody. Recording live from somewhere.
Welcome to this week's edition of the MMA Analysis podcast. I am your host, Lance Fishel. First off, joined by me, as always, is the biggest douchebag in the MMA world, Jay Primetown. Jay, how you doing?
Well, thanks for the intro, birthday boy.
That's all you gotta say?
No, I gotta wish a birthday shout out to MaddDogg. We've had 2 birthdays this week, so maybe we'll do some shots at the end of the show. What do you guys say?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, I don't have any shots. I have to go to a party, so.
I'm not 16 anymore.
Never heard of a pregame MaddDogg?
No, I have to drive a long way, and I'm already drinking a tremendous amount and trying to keep within the legal limit, which I am responsible, but, yeah.
Well, that was MaddDogg, so that'll kind of his intro, so we'll keep it going. But happy birthday as well, MaddDogg. And then we have Brad. Brad, what's up, man?
Oh, not much. I'm just trying to finish up this shepherd's pie here. It's going to be delicious, and I'm going to eat it throughout the show. So if I'm just chomping away, then you'll know.
I have no idea what a shepherd's pie is, and I don't want to know, so I don't answer the question. But let's jump right into the first word, which we're going to spend approximately 15 seconds on, because we have a lot to cover this week with some recaps, some Bellator, some UFC, all kinds of shit going on. So first word, it was just announced that UFC obviously is having their card in Abu Dhabi coming up, but they announced the times, and it's actually going to be Friday morning at I think 8 o'clock Pacific or 7 o'clock Pacific, something like that. So I guess my question, I'll start with you, Jay. Why did they do this? Why would they do this on a Saturday or Sunday if they're going to do a card that starts at 7 in the morning? Why do it on a Friday? And are you going to skip work that day?
The second part, no. The first part is a simple answer, Lance. What the Sheikh wants, the Sheikh gets.
I think you meant chic, but Nate, same question.
Do you mean like Master Shake from Adult Swim? Or like a Aqua Teen Hunger Force?
The shake weight.
I am. Yeah, I could do a really good meat waffle. Why are you always gonna be messing with me? What was the question, Lance?
That's not bad.
All right,
yeah,
Brad,
no, I tried.
You're skipped. Brad, what do you think of the Abu Dhabi card at 7 o'clock? You gonna skip work?
Since I work from home, I probably won't. I'll be watching the card, but I think it's pretty obvious that the milkshake brings all the boys to the yard.
Can we finally get Keyless as the intro?
I think I might have to this week.
Because I've asked 7 or 8 times to have Milkshake be our intro, and I just keep getting vetoed, and it's making me sad. But yeah, for me, I will probably either A, not go to work, or B, watch the entire card from work and not do any work. So I'll probably be watching it. But let's move on to the UFC Fight Night 37 London card, which ended up being a pretty fun card, a card that I think not a lot of people expected to be good, but ended up being pretty good. So I'm going to quickly read through the prelims and get the guys' thoughts, and then we'll go over the main card fights, and Jay can give us what's next for the winners and possibly losers if he did it on the main card. So all of these fights are on Fight Pass. Starting in the flyweight division, we had Luis Goodnight Gowden out, putting Phil Harris completely out, minute and 13 seconds of the first round by a guillotine choke in a fight where a lot of people, Phil Harris, thought they had the jiu-jitsu edge, so good win for Gowden out. In the welterweight division, we had Igor Araujo defeating Danny Mitchell by unanimous decision, 30-27 across the board. Not much to say there. Horrible fight. Igor Araujo, I think, is the most boring fighter in the UFC right now. I don't think there's even a second. Then we had, in just a disgusting affair, Claudio Silva defeating Brad Scott, 29-28, 29-28, 29-28 unanimous decision, in a fight that Silva could barely stand up, yet found a way to win the third round and seal the fight. Then we had Luke Barnett defeating Mats Nielsen by TKO head kick and punches. It was a beautiful finish, some good body work, and just a good finish by Barnett there after he was actually pretty close fight in the first 4 minutes of the fight. And then last we had Ilir Latifi defeating the ghost of Cyril Diabate by ninja choke at 3 minutes in the first round, and it actually looked like for at least 3 seconds that Diabate's head was going to completely pop off his body. So overall, it was pretty fun prelims. Jay, I'll start with you here. Quick thoughts on the prelims.
I was mildly surprised how good Ilir Latifi looked. I think it has a lot to do. I think it's, you can kind of make a good case for him and Gustafsson trained together. Both looked great. We didn't talk about Gus yet, but he certainly looked great in the main event, and that's always a good, chance for success is when you got two guys training for a fight, and they can kind of push each other to the limit. So all the power for Ilir Latifi.
Brad?
I am just terribly, terribly ashamed that Brad Scott has the same first name as me.
That is very fair. MaddDogg, how did you rate Cyril Diabate's performance?
Really, really, really bad. I know, I even said it myself when I picked him. I said retirement fights never go well. But I have to agree with Jay. I was impressed with, Ilir Latifi. Definitely a lot better than I thought, especially against a not-so-quality opponent. But I also have to say that moment between Igor Araujo, or Rojo, or however you say it, versus Danny Mitchell, when they were both on the ground slap fighting, that was probably the most embarrassing moment in MMA I've ever seen in my life. And I've seen people praising it and being all happy about it, but for me, I just couldn't. I was like, if I was either of these fighters, I'd be so ashamed of myself right now. And then I also have to just touch on the Brad Scott, Claudio Silva. God, Brad Scott, I don't know how you don't beat a man who's already dead. And it was so bad. He has no fight IQ, and Claudio Silva shouldn't get another UFC fight. That was so embarrassing and so bad. But besides that, Luke Barnett looked badass. Louis Gaudin looked badass. Ilir Latifi really impressed me. So, we got, 3 out of 5 really good fights.
Yeah, I thought overall the fights were really good, and it's just nice to see Cyril Diabate go out like John Elway and just go out on top. But let's move to the main card. In the welterweight division, we had Gunnar Nelson defeating Amari Akhmedov by submission guillotine choke in the first round. MaddDogg, quick thoughts here. I thought he looked great.
Yeah, after like a year off, Gunnar's finally back, and he looked fantastic against a dangerous guy. Not a really good guy, but he looked really good. So hopefully he gets a high-quality opponent next, so we can see Gunnar versus somebody on his level, because he seems to have been crushing cans his entire career and hasn't really hit that next level yet in competition.
Brad?
Yeah, Gunnar Nelson, I think that's pretty much the definition of a flawless victory there.
Yeah.
Or what Cyril Diabate did. Jay, what's next for Gunnar Nelson?
Yeah, I like to see a matchup with someone who could actually challenge him on the feet and also has an improving wrestling game. So it may actually force Nelson to actually have to stand for a bit. And I think that would be against Stephen Thompson. I think that would be, two guys that are kind of really rising in that weight class, and I think it would be a lot of fun, that fight.
Brad, would you weigh minus 800 on Gunnar Nelson versus Stephen Thompson?
Absolutely, and I think Gunnar Nelson should fight Mike Pyle.
I think he should fight them both.
At the same time?
At the same time. Anyway, let's move to the flyweight division, as Brad one-punch Pickett did not land one punch this fight, but did defeat Neil Seery by unanimous decision 30-27, 30-27, 29-28, in a fight that was a lot closer than he expected, and in my opinion, just not enough for Brad Pickett to get the title shot, in my opinion. Sorry, Adam Martin. Nate?
Yeah, I understand the outlook of Brad Pickett already beat Demetrius Johnson at 135 many, many years ago. Actually, that was the first fight I ever saw Demetrius Johnson in, so that was a really special fight for me. But Neil Seery looked awesome, man. His striking, everybody thought he's going to get wrecked, and he made it a really good fight. The difference was obviously the wrestling. Pickett's one of two Brits who can wrestle, and he looked really good. So, title shot? Hell no. But, when Ali Bogdanov's your number one contender, it's just really slim pickings, because DJ's just going to smash everybody right now, so it's just not, it's not picking contenders, it's picking who's DJ going to beat next at this point.
Brad?
Yeah, I was impressed with Neil Seery, but it wasn't really much that I didn't expect from him, because I've seen him in Cage Warriors. He's always had pretty good striking, and I think we all said that the line was inflated when we were doing the show last week, and that's how it turned out.
That is correct. What's next for Brad One-Punch Pickett?
Well, I'll do Seery first. Seery Gaudinot makes a lot of sense for me. I think Seery, showed pretty well here, and I think that would be a pretty good scrap. Both decently, I think they're both decent in that weight class and, similar size. I think it makes a lot of sense. Pickett, I'd like to see him face Ian McCall. This was the original matchup and still one I'd want to see. I really don't think Pickett convinced anybody he's worthy of the title shot, despite the fact that he's already beaten Demetrius Johnson once in his career.
I'll give you a D- on the Neil Seery prediction and an A on the Brad Pickett one. But let's move up to the co-main event of the evening, which was, I think it was worse than maybe the Igor Araujo-Danny Mitchell fight, which I just called a fucking disgusting, horrible fight, as Michael Johnson defeated Melvin Guillard 30-27, 30-27, 29-28, in just a weird fight. I mean, Melvin Guillard, the one thing that he gets criticism for is sometimes is he's too aggressive. He runs in recklessly and gets caught. That's how he got caught versus Joe Lozon. That's how he got caught versus Donald Cerrone. And sometimes he's just too reckless and runs in. This fight, it was literally like he was Canada. He was Canada in a war. Just running away from battle, just scared, no army, no nothing. It was nothing out of Melvin Guillard. Melvin Guillard was Canada. Brad, thoughts?
You don't even know about the Avro arrow. That would have just destroyed the U.S. if we ever had to invade you guys.
I think downtown Nashville could take out Canada.
44-40 or fight, motherfucker.
Belt buckles and boots and all. MaddDogg,
George Strait can do it by himself.
So Vince Gill's everywhere.
I do have to say, Canadians did have like 2 separate deploys with us on Normandy, so they were with us in the vast majority, but hey, they did come in, so hey, Canada.
They were in the back.
No, they were there. They're on the side. They had the
we
left,
actually broke through further than any other country when we did all that jazz with the Germans.
Operation Human Shield, that was your plan?
Jay, what's next?
What fight are we on? Oh yeah, this fight, I know, I knew the fight was going to be at least the majority, 30-27 Michael Johnson. I know a lot of people disagree with me, and I said the first round, like Melvin Guillard, I could see it being scored for him. I didn't disagree, but I'm up to the point where I can see how judges are going to score the fight. And one punch, they're not going to score it compared to controlling the momentum. And one thing I just want to touch on this, and I think it was the 3rd round when Guillard was really backing up a lot and Johnson threw up his arms. I mean, that's what he does to pretty much everybody when he's not winning at the exact moment. He runs around and backs up and works his distance and this and that. It was very hypocritical. I hate that when somebody else starts backing up and the guy's like, oh, come on, fight me. It's like, dude, you do that to everybody every day. Knock that shit off.
Brad, any thoughts here? I already kind of asked you about Canada.
Yeah, this fight sucked. I'm actually surprised that we were all on Melvin Guillard in this fight because he looks so terrible, but let's just move on. I don't care.
Jay, what's next for Mikael Johnson?
Well, for Melvin, how about Ally Aquinta?
What? How does that make sense?
Why not?
You're like failing right now. Who's next for Michael Johnson? You're horrible at these right now. Horrible.
I actually like that.
Why a guy coming off 3 straight wins facing Melvin Guillard, he's lost 4 of 5?
Because it's the next step up.
Yeah, exactly, Lance. Come on. Progression.
Does one guy get to stay in the relevance, or does one guy get to come into relevance? I like it. It makes sense.
I want Melvin Guillard versus Andy Ogle. 150-pound catch weight.
For Michael Johnson, he's looking for a fighter that's actually going to stand with him and actually strike, and his opponent also wants to do the same thing. So I think it should be Michael Johnson versus Nathan Diaz and make it a co-main event for the Fox card in August that we know is going to be coming.
I only want that happens if Michael Johnson promises to lay and pray. That's the only way. It's the only way I'd be cool with that.
Diaz is trying to.
I want Nate Diaz to retire and him and his brother to just go somewhere and never hear about him again. Anyway, let's move on to the main event as we had Alexander Gustin just fucking murking Jimmy Manuwa by TKO, knees and punches. It was just, woo! It was a good one for Gustin. So, real quick thoughts on this, guys, then we'll move on. Can't talk right now. MaddDogg, thoughts here?
A number 2 lightweight in the world absolutely smashed a not even top 15, maybe even top 20 ranked fighter, so no surprise.
Brad?
Yeah, I can't believe I ever considered that this fight might go to decision. I ended up actually playing Gustafsson inside the distance in a couple parlays, and I'm glad I did because he put on the kind of performance that he should have put on in this spot.
What is next for Alexander Gustafsson, Jay?
For Manuwa first, assuming James Tahuna stays at light heavyweight, I think that fight would be pretty decent. Both prefer to strike, so that would be pretty. I think that'd be pretty fun. For Gustafsson, it's pretty obvious he's going to face John Jones. That's the fight I want to see. It's probably the number 1 fight I want to see right now in MMA, but besides the Cyborg Rousey fight, and I'd really like to see that happen. And I really hope they do it somewhere outside the United States because I think that would be great.
Right, and real quick, one-word answers for normal. MaddDogg, we'll start with you. Biggest takeaway from the card?
I did not take much away. Fight Pass, these cards, I don't know, they're just not, I wish, I have no words. I took nothing away from this. Fight Pass cards, good. Leave alone.
Brad?
I can't believe MaddDogg managed to use so many words to say absolutely nothing. My takeaway is that Brits obviously still can't wrestle, and it's kind of embarrassing to watch them try.
Jake?
Luke Barnett needs a real step up. He's been talking a lot, maybe a little too much, but let him sink or swim. I mean, he's physically built to do well in mixed martial arts, so I really think he deserves a real step up in competition.
Melvin Gillard is dead to me. That's mine. Fight of the night. MaddDogg.
Well, the obvious pick that everybody should pick is Brad Pickett versus Neil Seery, and the fact that Gustafsson and Manowa's fight of the night is an absolute joke. It's the most laughable. That's worse than Ronda Rousey's automatic bonuses. It's fucking joke, man.
You're turning into Jay tonight. Just a simple fight would have done. Brad.
Pickett Seery.
There you go. Jay?
What MaddDogg said.
Okay. I'll also go with Pickett Seery. And then lastly, who are your best performers?
Which one of us?
Same order, MaddDogg.
That's damn right you introduced me, motherfucker. You're the host. Come on, keep it cordial. Obviously Alexander Gustafsson, and I'm actually going to say Gunnar Nelson. He just looked really good after a long layoff.
Alright. Brad?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Gustafsson as well, and I don't really want to agree with MaddDogg, so I'm gonna say Luke Barnett.
Jay?
I'm gonna agree with Brad here. Like I said, Barnett is they're really trying to find like a new, not face of British MMA, but like some new kind of star, or in quotations, and Barnett's the closest thing they got, unfortunately.
And I'll go Brad Scott and Surreal Diabate, but that'll do it for this card. So let's move on, and quickly we're gonna have to we just took so fucking long doing that, I want to cry. So let's look at Bellator 111 recap. So I'm just gonna read the results, and then I'll let MaddDogg give a couple minute break on this, and then I'll let Jay give the point totals, and fuck you, Brad. So on the prelim card, we had the Ivanov dude defeating Rich Hale via unanimous decision 29-20 across the board. The heavyweight division, we had Alexander Volkov defeating Mark Holada by TKO in the first round. Next in the heavyweight division, we had Mighty Mo defeating Peter Graham by submission. And then in the heavyweight division, we had LeVar Johnson defeating Ryan Martinez by TKO. What's up, dudes? Big Johnson, still alive. I'm dancing right now. You can't see. It's like a robot, like weird dance, but I'm doing it for Big Johnson. And then lastly, we had Eduardo Dantas defeating Anthony Leone by submission, rear naked choke. MaddDogg, thoughts here?
It was actually a lot better than it could have been. I mean, it could have been a monstrous disaster when you have an 8-man heavyweight tournament running a card, but it turned out pretty good. Blago Ivanov and Rich Hale was a fun fight. I thought Rich Hale had the best stance against Ivanov as far as style goes, but, he got the W. Dude, Mark Holada must have had his life savings on Alexander Volkov. That was the weirdest knockout I've ever seen. I've never seen somebody just completely crush. And the way his head flopped back, I mean, you guys gotta go back and watch that. That was the weirdest KO I've ever seen in my life. I actually enjoyed Mighty Mo versus Peter Graham. I thought that was kind of a fun fight for what it was. I mean, I don't know what you expect. Big Johnson looked good. Eduardo Dantas got the front runner for submission of the year. That was badass. I've never seen anybody just fall into a rear naked choke. My favorite part of the UFC card actually was when Ariel Helwani said that Yair Latifi had the submission of the year, and then like 20 MMA fans jumped down his throat. Like, you didn't fucking see that submission from Bellator last night. So yeah, it was a good submission, but not the greatest card ever. But hey, it could have been a disaster. It was fun.
Brad, I'll give you 14 seconds.
Yeah, Eduardo Dantas moonwalking into the rear naked choke was awesome. Mighty Mo is my hero, and he's my new pick to win the heavyweight tournament.
Ivanov.
I'm gonna go LeVar Johnson to win the tournament. What's up, bitches? Jay, point totals, go.
Yeah, I'm at 8. I think MaddDogg and Brad are at 7, you and MaddDogg are at 7, and Brad's at 6.
No, I think I'm in first. I think you had it wrong.
No. But you do have a chance if LeVar goes the distance.
He won't.
To take this thing.
Weren't we tied after the first one? Jay?
I believe you liked Peter Graham, so you're a
Yeah,
loser.
but wasn't I the only one who had LeVar Johnson?
We weren't tied though. I don't have it in front of me, Lance.
There's just no way you have more points than me.
I do.
We tied in in Bellator 110, and we tied in this one because I had LeVar Johnson, and then you had Mighty Mo, right, Jay?
I had Mighty Mo.
And you had Ryan Martinez?
Uh-huh.
And we both had Dantas, Volkov, and Ivanov?
Dantas was never a part of this.
Regardless, so we had the same points, so we were tied up.
No, there had to be something else that was different. I don't know what.
We're wasting too much time on this.
The only thing that's different is you're a liar and a cheat.
They're up on the website.
The most important thing is I'm in last place.
Liar and cheat, sir. Alright, let's move on to UFC 171 while most of you guys listen to us because I know we're just a bunch of fucking idiots. So, let's just jump right in the featherweight division. And before we do this to me is on paper is one of the best cards I've seen in a long, long time. And for me, the most excited I've been in a long time. So let's start in the featherweight division as we're sure to have a finish here, I believe, as we have Daniel the Pit Pineda taking on something called Robert Whiteford. Jay, is he a real person?
Yeah, he's real. He fought before. Don't you remember?
No.
He fought Jimmy Hedges. I know, it's hard to believe.
No, he's not a real person. He's fake.
This is primarily a striker for a striker matchup. But Pineda does have a huge advantage on the ground, if it goes there, but I don't think Pineda has a problem fighting on the feet, either. All of Pineda's fights, or rather all of his wins have come inside the distance. He's certainly dangerous on the feet. And, certainly, like I said, his grappling is a significant advantage. The issue with Whiteford, though, is his wrestling is just a black hole. It's bad. Defensively, he could get taken to the ground pretty badly, like other, UK fighters, certainly terrible. And, in mixed martial arts, that's just a bad sign and for his potential success in the sport. Pineda is fighting as well in his hometown of Dallas, and Whiteford's crossing the ocean. I'm not even sure if he's ever fought outside of the UK before, so this is going to be a totally new challenge for him. I think Pineda is the more talented fighter, and I do expect him to get the finish just like every other one of his wins. So, and the inside the distance line is plus 100. I think that's a pretty good price here. So. I like Pineda, and I'm playing him inside the distance. It's about a half a unit at plus 100.
Brad?
I see this as much more of a striker versus grappler than Jay does. I think that Pineda's best skills are definitely his grappling, and most of his finishes come very, very early in fights. So I think he's going to come out aggressive. He's going to get the takedown because we know that I don't know where Scotland ranks in the whole hierarchy of UK wrestling, but the fact that it's even in there means that it's not good. But I think Pineda's going to take him down early. He's going to get a sub, and there's a couple things that I've been looking at for this fight. Either Pineda wins in round 1 at plus 275, or Pineda by submission, which is at plus 180. So because those two numbers, I think the result is going to be both of those. I'm probably going to look at that Pineda in round 1.
MaddDogg.
Before we get too much deeper, I just had to say, because I didn't get an intro, I'm super duper excited for UFC 171, badass card. It was my wrestling weight class, and so it's very special to me. I'm glad that it's a great card, this 171. But it's all been said. Daniel Pineda's going to be way better on the ground. He should be able to hang on the feet. I have a bunch of small parlays, nothing really big that I'm going to be throwing him in. But when I say small, I mean big, like, fights between Bellator and UFC. But, I like Jay's in the distance line. I definitely see a Pineda finish, and it should at least be a very fun fight.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I think Pineda is just. I think the line's a little low. I think there's value in Daniel Pineda here. I think he's just the much better fighter. He's the finisher of the two. He's just the more skilled, and I do think Brad had something as far as the grappling goes. Pineda is a very underrated grappler. If you watch some of his finishes, he's just very, very skilled in the ground. And the thing that he does is he just always goes for it. But sometimes gets him in trouble, but he always goes for it. Like you'll see him. I forget who he was facing, but one of his fights, he was in full mount and threw in a mounted triangle, rolled onto his back. He takes chances. He always goes for the kill. So Pineda's one of those guys. He's either going to get the finish or he's going to get finished. And I think in this fight, he's going to be the one doing the finish. So I do like Daniel Pineda here. I still haven't finalized my bets, but he's definitely going to be a piece of a parlay, and inside the distance plus 100 is actually worth a stab as well. So it's going to be Daniel Pineda for me, and there will be a bet on that fight as well in a parlay. Next up, let's move to the middleweight division. We have Robert Bubba McDaniel taking on Sean Strickland. Jay?
Good old Bubba McDaniel. It's been a while since we've seen the mystery that is Bubba. He's facing a fighter here in Sean Strickland, who's a pretty decent prospect, first time in the UFC. But Strickland is, like I said, a solid prospect. He's got a decent submission game, really good ground and pound striking, so-so, but like I said, he does show decent striking when it comes to the ground and pound. Bubba is certainly a big middleweight. I think he has some talent, but his mind is just a disaster. I think
Wasn't me this time, I swear.
Is that someone telling me I should be betting the dog here?
I think so.
Please continue.
I just think any time with Bubba, this is another one of my rules of MMA, is that I can never bet a Bubba McDaniel fight simply because he's just a disaster, and you just don't know what you're going to get with him. So for almost that reason alone, I am going to pick Strickland here simply because I cannot trust Bubba with a 45-foot pole. So my pick is Strickland, but for me, this is the toughest fight to pick on the card.
Brad?
I don't think this is the toughest fight to pick, but I can definitely see some trepidation when it comes to laying a bet on Bubba. I think he's the better technical fighter everywhere in this fight, and I think he's going to pull out the win. Really, Strickland, I haven't been too impressed with him on tape. He's got decent takedowns. I think his best skill is sort of his ground and pound and how he uses that to transition on the ground. But I really don't think that he's going to be able to do that against Bubba, who I feel is a better grappler. I think he's a better striker. The wrestling, I think it's about a wash in this fight. So I think that Bubba has all of the advantages here. At plus 125, it's very, very tempting for me to bet him because he is the better fighter. But at this point, I'm going to hold off. Hopefully the line gets a little bit better. And maybe I'll be able to resist the temptation to bet Bubba here, but I do quite like him in this fight.
MaddDogg?
I'm actually upset because I was almost certain Brad would pick Strickland and I'd be able to pull ahead again. Because I hate to admit it. I'm picking Bubba McDaniel in a UFC fight. I never thought I'd do that. And I've seen the tape, and Strickland, I don't agree with Brad so much that his talent on the ground. I think he's most of his skill is on the feet, and he has a little bit of power. I think Tarzan's an appropriate nickname. He has long hair and he hits hard. I haven't seen much else that has really impressed me. And while Bubba McDaniel, I'm just not a fan of, and his history looks terrible. He seems custom made to beat Strickland. It's Strickland propane. Sorry, I just had to do that. I just think he has Craig Jackson, and he's going to be the better grappler. I don't know. I just think he's going to be able to take him down. He's going to just be able to control him for at least 2 rounds and survive a third. I don't think his chin is terrible. I think he just fought guys that hit hard, and he gets kind of a bad rap for it. I mean, he's got 2 of the most brutal injuries of all time. I mean, Uriah Hall jammed his brainstem down his throat, and Alexander Shlemenko threw his heart up his throat, so he's had it coming both ways. But long story short, could you possibly bet this fight? Hell no. People who are betting Strickland, I don't know what you're betting on, but I think Bubba McDaniel's going to send Strickland back to Strickland propane.
Yeah, I like how MaddDogg brought up the Shlemenko knockout for Bubba, because that was one of the best knockouts ever. Like, it looked like Bubba was just gonna die, and it was, whew. If you guys haven't seen that, you need to Google Shlemenko versus Bubba. It is it looks like someone like shot him with a shotgun. Like, it was fucking excellent. But as far as the fight goes, I actually sadly like Bubba McDaniel here, and I don't want to, because, you know, Bubba McDipshit, as I've called him in the podcast before, isn't my favorite, but I think this is one of those things where some people saw some tape on this kid, and he looked good, but he has been can crushing at a whole new level. He has been fighting absolutely nobody. And it was funny, I like to read this guy named Scott Harris on Bleacher Report, who does predictions, because he is the worst MMA writer on the entire planet. So, if you guys haven't read his, just read his stuff. It's hilarious. It's almost like he's never watched a fight before. And he specifically says in his article that Strickland has been fighting some really good fighters in the regional scene. Literally said that. Go to YouTube, watch his videos, and tell me if those are really good fighters. Scott Harris, I hate you. You are fucking terrible at your job. You are the worst MMA writer ever. You are fucking terrible. Anyway, Bubba McDaniel is gonna win this fight. I think he's gonna bring it to the ground. I think he's gonna lay on top. I think he's gonna dry hump, get a little jizz in the leg, and win a decision. So I'm going Bubba McDaniel here, but I'm definitely not betting it. Next up, let's go to the flyweight division as we have Will Campizano taking on Justin Scoggins. Scott Harris, take it over.
Sorry, Lance. I was gonna tweet Scott Harris.
Dude, you got a nice shout out on the MMA Analysis podcast.
Should I write that?
No. You remember the one time with Rothman with Andrew was tweeting in the whole time?
That was amazing. That was great.
I felt really bad. I really did.
It gave us like 3 weeks worth of we didn't have to we didn't have to do anything for those shows. It just, oh man, that was great. I missed those days.
The only bad part about the Rothman thing is when Andrew told him he got really excited.
We never had him on the show. We should have had him on the show.
No, but he got really excited that he was going to be a guest on the show, and then he found out it was a joke, and I felt so bad. And I'm a horrible person, but I still felt bad. I'm just saying. You should break down Wayne Boner versus Scoggins.
I don't want to spend too much time on this one. Scoggins is a really good talent. That's really the reality here. He's in his early 20s. You know, really nice kicking game. Trains at, ATT, which is one of the best camps, top 5 camp in mixed martial arts right now. And I think that's really helped his wrestling game significantly, which is important because some of the top fighters in the flyweight division, have pretty excellent offensive wrestling games. Campizano hasn't really improved since his WC days when he was considered a quality prospect. I just don't see the progression, and that's unfortunate for him because he in the Sergio Pettis fight, it was his wrestling that really kind of kept him in the fight to some extent. But here, I don't think he's going to have the same level of success, and Scoggins is a much better striker on the feet. So I see Scoggins winning this pretty easily. I'm not sure if it's going to be a finish, but I think it's going to be a clear decision. That's probably the most likely result. I have Scoggins in a parlay, which I already put on Twitter when the lines came out. So Scoggins with a fighter, also on the undercard.
Brad?
Yeah, pretty much most of what Jay said. I've got Scoggins in a parlay. I caught him at minus 300 before the line got bet up, so I think that presented some value. It's a little high now. I think that, the line should have settled probably where the Campizano-Pettis line settled. I think it's kind of a similar fight, except that Scoggins is a better defensive wrestler than Sergio Pettis. So I was kind of hoping that there would be a points handicap on this fight because I think Scoggins minus 3.5 would probably be a good bet and probably present a little bit of value as well.
MaddDogg?
Scoggins smash.
Is that your full breakdown?
That is my full breakdown. It's all you need to know. I don't know why everybody else has all this flippity-floop, long talk, jibber-jabber. Just to get to the point.
Yeah, I'm kind of with I think MaddDogg did the best job. Scoggins is absolutely gonna smash Campuzano here. I actually thought we get an okay line here. I thought it'd be around minus 250, minus 300 because he's a young kid, only one UFC fight versus, a decent veteran. But yeah, I think they got it right here. I think this is a wide odds fight. I think Scoggins is gonna do absolute work on Campuzano. So it's gonna be Scoggins for me. I think he actually might get a second or third, stoppage here, but we'll have to see. This is the only guy I bet on the card so far. I'm waiting until Saturday to bet, but I do have, Justin Scoggins parlayed for Daniel Strauss at minus 105 for 2 units. So that is a bet I've already made. Let's move on to the lightweight division as we have the last fight on the Fight Pass card as we have Henry Forte taking on Frank Trevino. Jay?
Man, this is just a really tough fight to cap in my opinion. We just know so little about Lee Trevino's grandson. That was for you, Lance.
That was a bad joke.
Oh, that's too bad.
I'm just saying work hard. You saw the work I did on Scott Harris. I want you to bring something like that to the table.
That was for you, Lance.
Thanks, dude.
You're welcome.
I'm about to make a drink, Jay.
I just made one in silence like a ninja.
That's gay.
Lance doesn't have that skill set. He doesn't know how to do anything in silence.
Are you gonna talk? Jay, break a fight down.
No.
I'll skip you. I will skip you. Alright, Brad, Jay, just tell me your pick.
My pick is Henry Forte, and he's gonna do it, by decision. This fight doesn't deserve a breakdown.
That's fair, I kind of agree. I think, Brad?
I don't know who this Henry Forte guy that you guys are talking about, but I really like Rene Forch to win this fight. I think that Francisco Trevino is not very good, and he gets his back taken all the time, and Rene Forch is going to do that, and maybe submit him, maybe take a decision.
MaddDogg.
Forte smash.
That's another excellent breakdown by MaddDogg. You get nothing but the best analysis from Scott Harris and the crew here tonight. But, I'm gonna also go with the Brazilian mostly because, I don't really have any reason. I think they both suck really, really bad. But yeah, I'll stop here. But speaking of someone who doesn't suck, Lance's number one prospect in all of MMA is in this next bout, as we have in the welterweight division, Sean Spencer versus Alex Garcia. Jay?
Yeah, this should be a fun fight. Alex Garcia certainly has the grappling and submission advantages. I also think he's got more power on the feet. As we saw in his last fight, he had a nasty uppercut knockout, which was pretty fun to see. Don't really see those that often.
He killed him. He died in the cage. That guy.
Yeah, we haven't seen him since, so that is certainly possible. He could be in a coma somewhere.
He's fighting on the Cincinnati card.
It took him 5 months to wake up, so that makes sense.
Yeah, he beat the shit out of him. I think he's banging that chick from Australia, though.
That's not a bad look.
What's her name?
I don't know, but it's not a bad look.
The Kahili one, the one with the weird name?
No, the Beck Hyatt.
Oh,
right?
Her?
She follows me on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Ben Wall is just showing her the short dick.
What's with all these Octagon girls going after these flyweight fighters? That's weird.
She's a fighter.
He's a welterweight, but still, you get the point.
Yeah, you can break the fight down though.
Yeah, I'll continue with the breakdown though. As I said, Garcia has grappling, submission, power advantages. I think Spencer's the more technical striker, and he's definitely strikes with more volume, which if the fight goes long, that could be a concern for Garcia. Garcia is really dangerous in the first round. If Spencer can drag this fight into, deep waters, into round 3, it could be fairly competitive. But my pick is Garcia, and I think he likely finishes the fight via submission. Like I said, he's got a superior ground edge, and I think that's where he ultimately wins the fight. But, like I said, if it goes to decision, I think it could be pretty close.
Yep,
it could, but it's not. Brad?
I have similar thoughts again. I think that Garcia I think he's got a little bit of an edge on the feet. He's got a big edge in terms of the wrestling and the grappling. I worry a little bit if it does go past the first round because he has gassed in the past. So I think he's going to get him out of there early. I think it's actually going to be by a submission as opposed to by a TKO. And right now that submission prop is plus 350.
MaddDogg?
Yeah, again, I really just wanted to say Alex Garcia's smash. I wanted to keep it going, but I think I should actually start doing breakdowns. I think the viewer would appreciate breakdowns. And, dude, mini Lombard. And what makes it even scarier now is that Lombard is in this weight class now. And, God, he's just fun to watch. He hits like a truck. He's great everywhere. I agree with Brad, cardio's an issue, but besides that, his fight to lose, Alex Garcia, smash.
Did you guys see the picture of him and Lombard together?
Can you send it to me?
They're twins.
I'll look at it after the show.
Yeah.
Also, if you're wondering, Scott Harris took Will Campuzano in the fight, saying you can almost give Campuzano a mulligan on that one. This is the UFC flyweight debut. It's coming against a pretty tough headhunter in Scoggins, but Campuzano is a big flyweight. He'll have 4 inches on Scoggins and a very dangerous and creative striker. His length and experience will make the difference. This guy gets paid to do things. I'm just saying. But Alex Garcia is going to absolutely just tear this motherfucker apart. I think that's really all you need. He's going to finish this in the first round. It's going to be violent. This guy might go and fuck Ben Wall's girlfriend after this just to make himself feel better. But yeah, Alex Garcia is going to be a main piece in a parlay. I still got to match all that together. But I will be betting Alex Garcia. I will have him in a parlay, and it's going to be just a glorious day for Alex Garcia. Next up in the featherweight division, we do have Dennis Bermudez taking on Jimmy Hedges. Jay?
Yeah, this is kind of a fun fight. Both come with some pretty decent acclaim. But I think Bermudez has a pretty clear path to victory here. If he uses his full skill set, I should say. But the issue is Bermudez is certainly the better striker. But he loves to go for takedowns. Like, he's obsessed with them. Like, even when he's facing somebody that has a pretty decent ground game, he goes for takedowns, which really doesn't make any sense, to be honest with you. Because if he goes to the ground with Hedges, it could be a lot of trouble. Because, Hedges has an excellent submission game. And if it gets that way, I really do favor Hedges on the ground, assuming the fight does go to the ground. But if Bermudez is smart, he's the better striker, and his defensive wrestling is good enough to keep the fight on the feet. So, my pick is Dennis Bermudez, but I cannot bet this fight simply because I don't trust Dennis Bermudez to keep the fight standing.
Brad?
Yeah, Jay and I were actually talking about this fight yesterday, I think, and I sent him a message that said, in all of his fights that have gone to decision, Dennis Bermudez has attempted no less than 9 takedowns in all of them. So this guy cannot help himself. He has to take people down, even if he's just like lighting them up on the feet. He still has to go for takedowns. I don't know, it's something, maybe his cornrows are too tight. I don't know what's going on, but that's going to be his, well, I don't want to say his downfall in this fight, because I'm not sure that Hedges can submit him very quickly or very easily, but he's going to put himself in more trouble than he needs to in this fight. I'm also going to pick Dennis Bermudez because I think that he does have that advantage on the feet. He does get hit way too much for my liking, but Hedges hasn't really shown anything on the feet to show me that he's going to be able to take advantage of that. So Dennis Bermudez decision should be a fun fight and should be closer than it needs to be.
That is fair. MaddDogg?
Wow, in my opinion, there is not nearly enough excitement for this fight. I am fucking pumped for this fight. This fight is awesome. I love the fight. I would think more of it if Jimmy Hedges had never managed to fight Marcus Brimage, because I don't know what the fuck that was. That performance was absolutely terrible. It wasn't Jimmy Hedges. It was something to behold. But besides that, this is an awesome fight. And while I do agree that Bermudez has a striking advantage, I think it's mostly in power, not overall skill. He's not exactly a killer on the feet as far as like technique goes. I think it'll be competitive. Obviously, Jimmy Hedges has the submission game, and Bermudez's weakness in the past, at least, has been the submission game. Obviously, in the last 3 years, he's improved that. But he's going to be the better wrestler. He at least one time will pick Jimmy Hedges up and slam him, and this should be a very fun fight. I do think it'll go the distance, and I think Bermudez has a history of winning close decisions. He always seems to win close decisions, even if it's correct or wrong. He's very good at that, and I'm super pumped for this. This is one of the fights on the main card, probably the main fight on the undercard that I'm looking forward to. I think this will be a whole lot of fun, and I do pick Dennis Bermudez by decision, split decision.
Yeah, I'm with MaddDogg. I think it's a very, very fun fight. I always like Dennis Bermuda's fights. He's almost always in a fun, ridiculous, controversial, weird fight, which always makes for a good entertainment. But the thing that always gets Bermudez in trouble is when he faces decent strikers, guys that throw a lot of quantity and kind of push the pace, and guys he has a little bit trouble getting down. You saw the takedown attempts, but this really isn't it in this fight. Jimmy Hedges is very sloppy on the feet. He's not very good on the feet, and I don't think he's going to have the skill nor the strength to drag Dennis Bermudez down here. So I really think the only way this fight is getting to the ground is if Dennis Bermudez brings it there, which I really hope he doesn't, because I think he's going to have advantage in the feet. And if he does, I hope he does takedowns to steal rounds at the end. But I like Dennis Bermudez here. I think he's just the better fighter here. I think he's going to be much stronger and be able to kind of throw those takedown and judo throws away from Jimmy Hedges. So I do like Dennis Bermudez here. Probably going to be putting him in a parlay with someone else, still kind of figuring out those as well. But like I said, we'll have all those posted Saturday. But yeah, Dennis Bermudez is the pick here, and I think it's going to be a decision. Next up, let's move into the women's bantamweight division as we have Raquel Pennington taking on Jessica Andrade. Jay.
Are you going to introduce me? Thank you for introducing me.
Just fucking talk.
Excuse you. Respect your eldest co-host, okay?
I'm the only one who's allowed to swear on this podcast, mister. So you watch your tone.
Yeah, watch it, Lance. Watch it.
Just break the fight down.
All right, you know, I like this fight. I've really started to enjoy all the fights, you know, from the women's division so far, and in the UFC, they've all, for the most part, been pretty entertaining, and I think this one could potentially be as well. I do see a significant, several significant advantages for Andrade in this fight. First of all, Pennington's just not active enough on the feet. She doesn't have the striking volume that Andrade has. In Andrade's fight with Rosie Sex, I think she set the UFC's women's record for most strikes landed in a fight. It was just, I don't know, I don't remember the exact amount, but it was well over 100 strikes. And that's really important. Volume is really important in women's MMA simply because of the lack of finishes. There's just, most of the fights go to decision, and volume and landing of strikes is probably the primary factor in which judges decide who wins a fight. So that's important. As for size, Andrade is a smaller fighter, but I think she's definitely capable of getting inside and landing strikes on Pennington. Pennington doesn't really use range that well. So I think that's an advantage again for Andrade. And lastly, Andrade is the better grappler, and she's got a much better submission game than Pennington if the fight does go to the ground. I'm not sure the fight's going to be, primarily fought on the ground. I think it's going to be mainly a standing exchange. Like I said, Andrade has those advantages as well. So I like Andrade here. I personally cap her at minus 250. The line is, really jumped. That this was the fighter on the other card I was talking about that I played at the Open, which was minus 170. That I had that parlayed with Scoggins, and that paid plus 116. I would need that to be under minus 250 again to consider a play. I think it's right around minus 250 now. So you want it to come down a little more if you want to play Jessica Andrade here.
Brad, we all know how much you love women's MMA.
Yeah, I think this fight is going to show off some sweeping generalizations about women's MMA. There's very few females who have the ability to use a jab and keep range. That's part of the reason why Ronda Rousey is so successful, because she can just walk through everybody's punches, get into the clinch, get them down, and dominate there. And the other thing that we often see is that the better athlete wins. And I think the better athlete in this fight is Jessica Andrade. I didn't cap her quite as high as Jay. I had her right around minus 200, so I don't like her right now at minus 250, minus 270, wherever she's floating at this point. But I do think she takes home a decision in this fight. Maybe even gets a submission, either via guillotine or rear naked choke, because Raquel Pennington, really not very good on the ground. So I like Andrade here, no bet though.
MaddDogg.
I loved Brad's Ronda Rousey little explanation there. That makes, like, it's true. I know Lance kind of ha-ha'd a bit, but it's true. Women, they don't have a whole lot of, unless your name's Chris Cyborg, you're not knocking bitches out on a regular basis. It's just not happening. And, I don't know. This fight, Raquel Pennington, people base a lot on that one fight on Tough versus, not Peggy Morgan, who was the tallest, but who was the second tallest? Raquel, or what was her name? Who did
Roxanne?
Roxanne Modafferi.
Oh,
no, that's
Jessica Rakoczy.
Yeah.
Jessamyn Duke.
Duke, there you go. God, it took 3 tries. Yeah, Jessamyn Duke, that fight with Raquel Pennington and Jessamyn Duke, that was really entertaining. She let her hands go, she threw like crazy, she was really aggressive. Since then, we have not seen that. And a win over Roxanne Modafferi, you know, bless her heart, she's like the most hilariously awesome person I've ever seen on Tough ever. She's probably the worst fighter to ever fight in UFC history, and that's probably a fact. And I don't know. If Raquel throws, it could be competitive, but this is Jessica Andrade's fight to win everywhere. She's faced the better competition. It's just plain and simple, her fight to win. I definitely see it going the distance, and it's really who can put in the most effort, and I think Andrade is the one to do that.
Yeah, I don't really have much to say here. I almost wanted to bet Pennington in this fight, just strictly because, you know, I don't think Andrade is that great either, and I thought the line was pretty high. I mean, I don't know how you can have a good read on a fight like this. I mean, like MaddDogg said, Pennington's looked great at certain times. That Duke fight, she looked great, and I feel like if she keeps the fight standing and throws her hands like that in that fight, she could win. If she looks like she did against Modafferi, then she would lose. So I'm going to pass this fight. I'm going to take Andrade here just because I do think she's, at this point, the better striker, but there's no way I'm betting her. If the line gets crazy on fight day, it gets up to like plus 300 on Pennington, I'll probably end up taking a stab on that. But it's going to be Andrade for a pick here. Next up, we'll go to the last fight on the prelim card on Fox Sports 2, which is just a fucking awesome fight, and for me, probably my favorite fight in the whole card, as we have Kelvin Gastelum taking on Rick the Horror Story. Jay?
Yeah, this is one of the few times we're ever going to agree on anything, Lance. This is also my favorite fight on the card. I feel like this is 2 guys on the cusp in this division, and it's just a really important fight for both guys. For Story, he really needs to win here, or quite frankly, I think he's just going to be in gatekeeper mode forever. While Gastelum is, you know, as we've seen, he's improving exponentially with each fight, and this is a real step up in competition for him. So this is really exciting, and I'm really looking forward to it. Both these guys have decent wrestling backgrounds. Maybe Story has a slight advantage there. And Story definitely has a power striking advantage on the feet, but I think Gastelum is the more busy fighter. I think he definitely strikes with, you know, he's just more of a volume striker, and he also has a significant cardio edge, and I think that could be a real a difference maker in this fight. As you know, we're talking 2 guys here who have a combined who've been finished a combined like a couple times in their career. Gastelum's never lost. Story, I think, has only been finished 1 time in his entire career. So there's a pretty high likelihood this one could go to the cards, and maybe Story wins round 1, and then, you know, Gastelum, you know, takes over in the second, and then really turns it on the third and wins a competitive decision. That's how I kind of see this going. But it wouldn't surprise me at all if this is another one of those split decision kind of fights, which might kind of plague the main card. So my pick is Gastelum, but I think it's going to be a very competitive decision.
Brad?
I agree that this is one of the best fights on the card. I don't see how you couldn't think that. And it should be fun because we know what Rick Story does. He comes out, he moves forward, throws a bunch of punches, you know, maybe tries to get some takedowns and slam people around a little bit, but he's favored his hands a little bit more in recent fights. And I think that, honestly, that's a little bit of a mistake against Gastelum because I think Gastelum's the better striker here overall. I think he's going to be a little bit faster. As Jay said, he's going to have the better cardio. He's a little bit more technical on the feet. And I think that over the course of the fight, it's going to be close because Story's going to be the one moving forward the majority of the time, I think. But Gastelum can also use that to get a couple takedowns mixed in, and I think he's going to take a decision here.
MaddDogg.
Yeah, it's all been said. This is this is definitely a fight to look forward to. Both guys are eerily similar to each other. Obviously, Rick Story's been around quite a bit longer. He's faced much better competition, and he's the only guy to defeat title contender Johnny Hendricks. So he does have an impressive resume against impressive guys. Kelvin Gastelum, obviously Ultimate Fighter winner. He is coming along in his own right. This is a close fight. Both guys dangerous on the feet. Both guys good wrestlers. I don't think submissions will even be a factor in this fight. I think it'll be about controlling the wrestling and the boxing. Whoever can land the most shots and control the wrestling is going to win the fight pretty clearly. And I'm picking Rick Story here. I think he's more experienced, and I think he's improved his boxing quite a bit lately. And I don't think Kelvin has really. I mean, like, I will say, like, I even said in that Ultimate Fighter finale versus Uriah Hall, do not bet on Uriah Hall. I said back then I was on the 6th Round podcast. Hey, if you're old school enough, you can remember that. But Uriah Hall, I said, yeah, don't bet that fight. And then obviously Brian Mellencamp, like, he looked good up to that point, and then he got absolutely wrecked by Kelvin. So Kelvin has looked good against not horrible competition, but definitely not the level that Rick Story has been facing. And so I'm just gonna take the smart bet. He is an underdog. Am I betting it? No. But like I said earlier, I have a whole bunch, and I mean a lot, in honor of my birthday. I've done a ridiculous amount of parlays between UFC and Bellator all over the place. And I'm just going to get shitty drunk and I'll wake up the next morning. I'm going to see how much money I won. But yeah, I'm picking Rick Story, and I have him in a few plays. I even have Kelvin in a few plays. But this is not a fight I could bet securely. A lot of people seem confident in Kelvin. I'm just going to let this fight go and enjoy it and this is going to be a really fun one to watch, guys.
Yeah, I'm with MaddDogg here. I do like Rick Story. I keep closing my eyes and visualizing this fight, and all I see is Rick Story pushing Kelvin Gastelum against the cage and just ripping shots to the body over and over again. I actually wouldn't even be surprised if Rick Story gets a finish here. He's so underrated with his strikes to the body. He has great boxing, works the body, wears guys out with that. And, you know, I've heard some people say he might be declining or getting a little worse, and he's getting a little older, but if you look at his last fight, I thought he looked absolutely, like, awesome in his last fight. I know it was against Ebersol, and it wasn't, you know, the best opponent, but Ebersol's no slouch. He's not like a can or anything like that, and Rick Story just beat the shit out of him. And if I look at all the advantages, I feel like Rick Story is better in every advantage. I think he's the more powerful, better wrestler. I think he's definitely the better striker, more experienced. The only thing edge I could possibly give Kelvin is jiu-jitsu, but I just don't see it playing a factor here. I don't think Kelvin's going to be able to submit him. So I like Rick Story here. I think this fight's going to be almost all on the feet, and I think Rick Story's the better striker. I think his body work's going to hurt Kelvin and wear him down, and I see Rick Story either getting a second or third round finish or winning a wide decision. So I do like Rick Story here. I'm going to outright pick him, and I am going to be betting Rick Story at the plus 160 line. I feel like that line is definitely inflated, so it's going to be a pick and a bet for Rick Story for me. But let's move on to the main card, and we start off with a hilarious Nikita Krylov fight. In the light heavyweight division, we have Oben St. Preux taking on Al Capone, Nikita Krylov. Okay?
Wait, did you just accent Capone?
Al,
what the hell's wrong with you?
Al Capone.
What the hell? He's not French. He's American. There's no in the American language.
Al Capone. Deal with it.
You are so useless when it comes to accents.
Al Capone.
Alright, I'll break it down. Yeah, Brad, put in the Degeneration X music when you edit this, thank you. Are you done, Lance?
Are you gonna break the fight down?
Are you gonna stop whistling?
Well, you took so long, I got bored and started whistling.
Go make yourself a drink.
I can't, I'm too sleepy from you talking.
Oh, God, here we go. This is a really strange fight, to lead off a pay-per-view, in my opinion. I don't know. I just have a feeling it's gonna end up being fairly boring. Yeah, both are fairly lengthy, fighters. St. Preux is one of the longest in the division with an 80-inch reach. It's gonna be interesting to see how Krylov deals with a fighter who, actually weighs the same amount as him as opposed to him having the speed advantage. I'm really not sure how good Krylov is, and that's part of the difficulty I have with breaking down this fight. I've seen so little of him against, you know, he in his first fight in the UFC, he faced Saul Paleli, who had like a 50 pounds of weight advantage, and that's just a totally different element than say his fight against Harris, which lasted 20 seconds. So it's just difficult for me to tell how he's going to do in this type of situation where he's going to be, first of all, he's going to be dropping down in weight, and now facing a guy who's very athletic, former college football player in St. Preux. Krylov's never seen a decision, so it's hard to see that he's going to be in a decision here. Both guys like to strike, so a finish is certainly possible. I think St. Preux is the better technical striker, and I think he'll probably eventually knock out Krylov, maybe ground and pound later in the fight, or maybe he hits one early. But the ground and pound, maybe in the second round, seems to be the most likely method of victory for him. So my pick St. Preux, but I wouldn't bet this fight. I do kind of like the inside the distance line. I think it's just under minus 250. That's not bad to put into a couple parlays, but not touching the side here.
Brad.
Well, we all know that Ukraine is strong, but unfortunately in this fight, Ukraine is not athletic and explosive. So I'm going to have to give the edge to Ovince St. Preux. I think that even though Nikita Krylov has dropped some weight, he's not as pudgy as he was in his UFC debut. He still can't wrestle, and Ovince St. Preux, he's not a great wrestler, but I think he can drag this to the ground a couple times and start to land some ground and pound from the top, and eventually when Ukraine is still strong but somewhat fatigued, the athleticness and the explosiveness will take over, and St. Preux is going to win.
MaddDogg.
If you remember, I'm a big fan of the Ukraine. One of the craziest plays I've ever made ever, half of it was based on him, and he made it. So I love the guy. But you just can't bet on the guy here. And to be honest, I can't bet on Ovince St. Preux. He shouldn't be negative 400 versus anybody in the world right now. Well, no, that's not true at all. But not anybody in the UFC should throw in front of him at this point in his career. I think that obviously I can't assume too much on the striking, because from what I've seen, Krylov isn't terrible on the striking. And while Ovince St. Preux does have a great power, he's not the most technical striker. Krylov does have submissions, but obviously not big enough to factor for OSP. But I think the difference here is going to be the wrestling and the ground and pound. I think Ovince St. Preux should easily be able to take down Krylov, as Noah Paleli was. Even though he's smaller, he's much faster, and he has hard ground and pound. He does hit very hard from inside the guard, and I think he will work him up from there, and maybe come out the second round and finish to gas Nikita Krylov, who's making like the first legitimate weight cut of his career. And so I do like a play in this fight. No big money, but I do have many parlays that have Ovince St. Preux, Nikita Krylov won't start third round, negative 160. I have that in many plays. I like it. But nothing as far as picking an individual fighter. I don't know enough about Nikita Krylov, and Ovince St. Preux, while this is his fight to lose, let's face it, he's a much better fighter. I'm just not completely sold on it, but definitely not. It does not start third round. I feel very confident in.
I don't know what kind of crack everyone is smoking on Nikita Krylov. This is the same guy that was in that Noah Paleli fight. That was the worst fight ever, and after that fight, everyone said he was the worst fighter of all time, and then he gets a knockout over just a complete shit can, and now he's some kind of superstar. I would literally, no joke, pick every single light heavyweight in the entire UFC over him. Not even exaggerating, every single light heavyweight. In my opinion, he is still the worst fighter on the roster.
Cody Donovan?
Cody Donovan would finish Nikita Krylov in the first round. Wish I was joking, but I'm not. He would absolutely finish him in the first round. Not even a question. He's the worst fighter in the UFC. Minus 400 value. Huge value in that. OSP, first round knockout. Not even a question mark. This fight doesn't even last a minute. Let's go ahead and move on and not talk about horrible fighters.
Can we bet on that, Lance?
That it ends in the first round? Sure.
First minute?
Yeah, you said first minute.
You said first minute.
You'll have to give me some odds if I'm only getting a minute.
No, you said it, Lance. You said it.
And I'll bet
if
it.
We're doing odds, then you and I's wager should change for the
what's
for the
our
Harris
wager?
whatever fight. The Harris or not Harris, Anthony Johnson, who is it? I see his
Phil
face,
Davis.
Wonder Boy. Yeah, there you go. Phil
Wonder
Davis.
Boy.
I should get some
How can you make odds on if a fight is exciting?
because I should do the Anthony Johnson in it. I should get a 3-1 because I'm saying that Phil Davis is going to control it boringly. That's not very likely, so I should get a better handicap.
Anyway, we only have like a little bit of time left, so I'm going to move to the next fight.
Good call.
Here you go. Anyway, welterweight division, Jake Shields, Hector Lombard. Jay, go.
Yeah, this is an extremely important fight for this division. You know what? I don't know if the fight's going to be entertaining, but it's extremely important, and which makes me, very intrigued by it. Shields has won his last 2 fights as large underdogs. I think he was close to plus 200 against Woodley, and against Damian Maia, it was, plus 250, almost plus 300 as the fight closed. And this is just Shields is one of those type of fighters who's just very difficult to dominate. He loves to fight in the clinch. He stays active. He scores points mainly with leg kicks, volume. He's just he's just one of those type of fighters that it may not be pretty, but he always seems to find a way to get the job done. He's excellent on the ground if he can get it there, but he's really struggled for takedowns in his last few fights. All the stats have been put out there, like something like 1 of 30 in takedowns his last few fights, which seems abysmal, but he's won, so there's that. Lombard's an excellent athlete, really good KO power. My problem with Lombard is simply he's inconsistent. He struggles in general with fighters when he has to go to the decision. He just seems to be just inactive, and that makes him end up losing fights, such as against Tim Bosch and Yushin Okami, where Bosch was able to stay active enough and get a decision. It wouldn't surprise me if that happens here again. Shields has a bit of a size advantage, but I'm not sure that really plays that much of a factor in this fight. And the key to really beating Hector Lombard is to staying within distance, so Lombard just can't unload with his power striking. So this is a very tough fight for me to call straight up. But with the lines how they're at this point, I lean. You know what? I'm gonna actually pick Jake Shields here to win by decision, and I'm betting Jake Shields to win by decision. I did that at plus 335. And I recommend a bet on that at anything over 3-1. I think that's, very generous given the history of both of these fighters. So I expect this to be a very competitive, fight and to go to the scorecards and where anything can happen. So I'll take 3-1 or over 3-1 on Jake Shields here.
Jesus Christ. Anything else?
Good God, Jay. I got shit to do today. I gotta wake up tomorrow. What are we doing?
That was as boring as a Jake Shields fight. Brad, go quicker.
I can do that. I do favor Hector Lombard in this fight, although I can see Shields making it boring. But even if that's the case, we've seen Hector Lombard can win those sorts of fights where it's kind of a tepid striking exchanges throughout the fight. We saw that against Shlemenko. I think that he's either going to get the finish here, or he's going to go for it in the first round, play it a little bit safe if he doesn't get that finish, which I really don't expect him to because Jake Shields is quite tough to finish. And Lombard, I think he's going to outstrike him over the course of 3 rounds. So I do like Hector Lombard here. Not enough to bet him, but I think Lombard's the pick.
MaddDogg.
I was on Sportsbook Review Forum the other day. If you want my full breakdown on this fight, you can go check it out because Jay took up all my time. I'm going to speed right through this. Goddammit, Jay. I'm just going to say it really quickly. I do think Hector Lombard finishes. I think he knocks him out. I wouldn't even be surprised if it was in the first round. I want to say a lot more about this just for the sake of time. I'm just going to say this. I have a play on Hector Lombard. I am worried that Jake Shields will be resilient. He opened at negative 160. For some reason, somebody bet on Jake Shields. It was probably Jay. Jay drove down the line. Lombard was at negative 150 where I made my play. I have 2 units on him. I feel really good about it. And he's currently skyrocketed since then. So I feel really good on Hector Lombard pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, same as MaddDogg. I'll keep it short because Jay just wrote a fucking book on the show. I'll go to Hector Lombard here. I really like him. I just don't see Jake Shields being able to take us to the ground, and I think Hector Lombard has learned from not being aggressive from the Bosch fight, and even so a little bit with the Okami fight. I think he's going to be aggressive here, but I don't think Jake Shields could ever get Hector down to the ground. So I take Hector Lombard here. I think he's going to get a first or second round finish. So it's going to be Hector Lombard for me as a pick and a bet. But let's move on to the next fight as we have in the lightweight division, Diego Sanchez taking on Miles Jury. Long win, Jay?
I'll keep it as quick as possible. I expect this to be another very competitive fight. Jury rarely gets hit, but Sanchez is definitely going to be the aggressor here, and you know how the judges love aggressors in these type of situations. So this is another fight, very competitive, likely going to go to the decision. Probably going to be another split decision, so I would not bet a side here. My pick is Jury simply because I think he's better. He's not going to get hit as much. Sanchez bleeds, but you never know with the judges, especially in Texas. Crowd's going to be behind Diego Sanchez. Don't put your money on a side here. You can definitely play the over 2.5. I think that certainly is going to hit. I would be shocked if it doesn't.
Brad?
Yeah, when these main card lines came out, the first thing that I played was the over 2.5. I got it at minus 230. I think it's higher than that at this point, but it's hard to see a Diego Sanchez fight not going over. I tweeted this, or I sent a message to a couple people saying this, but the last time a fight of his didn't go over was March of 2009. So it's been quite a while since that happened. Even in his finishes, they've been very late, either for or against him in fights. So I like this fight to go over. I like Miles Jury to win, but the other bet that I'm actually looking at is Diego Sanchez plus 3.5 because judges love this guy for whatever reason.
MaddDogg.
Do you guys know the last guy Diego Sanchez knocked out was Luigi Fioravanti, and it wasn't even a knockout, it was a TKO? When's the last time you saw Luigi Fioravanti fight?
I don't know who
Saw
that is.
him on a Score Fighting Series card, like 4 years ago.
You guys don't remember Luigi? Fioravanti. Whatever. Okay. Do some research. So the last guy that Diego Sanchez legitimately beat was Paulo Thiago, and besides that, like, the Martin Kampmann decision was robbed, Gomi decision was robbed. Miles Jury looks awesome. I actually talked to Michael Chandler today. Hey, camp went well. Moral of the story, I do agree with Brad. The best way to bet this fight is the over. I do have Miles Jury by decision at plus 130 in many, many, many small parlays. But will I bet this at any confidence? No. I'm looking forward to it, but I do expect Jury to control this fight completely and get the decision.
Yeah, I was on your little conversation with Michael Chandler. I told him that, don't forget, it's Jury versus the judges. But yeah, I'm definitely starting with Miles Jury here, so it's going to be a pick for Miles Jury, but it's going to be no bet for me. And you know, it's simply because, I mean, joke around, but it's the judges, and you know, Diego has that style where he's constantly pushing forward. I don't think it's all like he gets robbery decisions, which, I mean, he does, but it's like he does push forward. He is super aggressive, and he wins every third round ever. He's winning the last round. Doesn't matter who he's facing. Like, even, I think it was the Jake Ellenberger fight, in a fight that he was just completely overmatched here and still found a way to win that third round. A guy who was way bigger than him with a wrestling advantage. Still, he took Jake Ellenberger down and beat him up. He finds a way to win third round. So, in his mind, he just has to steal one of the first two and he's there. And that's what he does. So, it's not going to be a play for me, but I don't think Miles Jury is going to be gassing out here. I think he's going to use his wrestling to take him down. He's going to be much better on the ground. On the feet, I do think a little interesting. I know Jury's a pretty good striker, but you just never know how people are going to deal with Diego's aggressiveness in the in-your-face style. So it's going to be a pick from Miles Jury, a pass from a bet, and as a fan, I hope Diego Sanchez wins. Next up in the welterweight division, we have Carlos Condit versus Tyron Woodley. Jay?
This is classic striker versus grappler contest. You know, it's really interesting. I just heard today, I'm not sure how many people actually heard this, but Condit pleaded with Dana White and the UFC brass to make this a 5-round contest, even though it's not a main event. As you know, they haven't done that. So that definitely tells you a bit about how this fight's going to, you know, Condit's mindset maybe going into this one. So being that it's a 3-round contest, I expect this to be a lot closer than it would be if it was a 5-round contest. 5-round contest, love Carlos Condit. 3-round contest, I think it's pretty much a toss-up. Here's why. Condit has a tendency to be put on his back early in fights. It seems like almost, his last few fights he was put on his back early. George St. Pierre, Martin Kampmann, for example. Kampmann had maybe a 2-0 lead in that fight even. And that could very well happen in this case. Condit has a really good chin. Woodley certainly has a lot of power, but, with Condit's, chin, I don't expect that he's going to be able to finish him. So if Woodley wins, I think it would be by decision. Condit's going to have to fight from behind here, and that makes me worry a bit. So this is a really tough fight to call. I kind of think it may play out similar to the McDonald-Damian Maia fight, where McDonald was down a clear 1-0 and had to come back and win 2-1. So I'm gonna lean Condit to lose the first round and then come back and really pour it on in the third and win a 2-1 decision. But it wouldn't surprise me at all if Woodley gets a 29-28 nod, kind of like the Johnny Hendricks fight. So my pick is Condit, but I'm not confident here. I can't even bet this fight. My pick is Condit, but damn, this is close.
Brad?
First of all, it is a fucking travesty that this is not a 5-round fight, or that Carlos Condit is ever in anything that is not a 5-round fight. Let me get that out of the way first. And if it was 5 rounds, I would probably lay minus 1,000 on Condit in this fight, because he's going to win round 3, he would win round 4, he would win round 5 if the fight got there. The only question I have is, Tyron Woodley is probably going to win round 1 if he comes out and does what he says he's going to do, which is wrestle. And then it comes down to round 2, which kind of sucks, because we've seen that the judges tend to score takedowns way higher than they should, which means that Woodley might win round 2, even if he doesn't deserve to, because we've seen in the last couple fights, Condit had Johnny Hendricks sucking wind about 8 minutes into that fight. Martin Kampmann, Jay, I don't know how you scored the second round of Condit Kampmann for Kampmann, but I thought Condit really started to blow him out of the water in the second, even more so in the third, obviously got the finish in the fourth. But he's actually done really well at tiring guys out early on in fights. And against Tyron Woodley, who already has cardio issues, I think that he's going to get very tired very early in this fight. Carlos Condit is going to take over. If he doesn't get the finish, he's going to win rounds 2 and round 3. So I like Carlos Condit for the pick. It's hard to feel confident because one takedown in the second round here for Tyron Woodley, and the judges might score it for him. But I do like Carlos Condit, and the more I think about it, the more I do like Carlos Condit.
MaddDogg.
I have talked about this fight so much. I've already done 3 other shows. I've thought about it a bunch, and I'm just tired of talking about it. It's all been said. I got your perfect play right here. If anybody's going to finish this fight, it's Carlos Condit. If anybody's going to win this by decision, it's going to be Tyron Woodley, at least in my opinion. I actually have two plays, both 2 units each. I have Woodley by decision plus 282 and Condit in the distance plus 180. I know Woodley's striking's coming along. I know Condit could win round 2 potentially. Either way, I feel that this is a very likely play. One of these 2 things is going to happen, and it's a perfect hedge play. So I have, Woodley decision plus 281, Condit in the distance plus 180, 2 units each, and I feel very good about it. I think the odds are in my favor.
That is a scary bet.
I like it.
I definitely think Condit can win a decision. I might be alone here. I could see Condit definitely winning the second and third round, not getting a finish, because when Carlos...
I agree, I said that.
Yeah, well, I mean, Carlos Condit, like, how he finishes, besides a couple here and there, I know with the Dan Hardy fight and the Kim fight, but a lot of time the Kampmann fight is a good example, he wears guys down with his striking. Like, I think he would have finished Johnny Hendricks in the 4th or 5th round. I truly do. I think it would have been just the volume striking of Condit and the wearing people out, and he gassed you out so bad. In a 3-round fight, I mean, I'm not sure if Condit can will get the finish. Obviously he can. I think he could definitely get the finish, but I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he wins the second and third round and wins 29-28. So I'd be a little careful that, yeah, I do like Carlos Condit in this fight, but I can't bet it. I'm more siding with Jay here. You know, I love Carlos Condit. He's one of my favorite fighters to watch. He's just a joy to watch. It's a pleasure to watch him, and I want more than anything to see Johnny Hendricks versus Carlos Condit fight for 5 rounds. And I know you guys talk about fights you want to see. That's the fight I want to see. I want to see 5 rounds of Hendricks versus Condit. So I hope that comes to fruition. If it doesn't, that would suck. But I could easily see Woodley grinding out a decision here, making it boring and ruining all our lives. But for a pick, it to be Carlos Condit, but it's a fight I'll have to sadly pass. But next up in the main event, we have Johnny Hendricks versus Robbie Lawler for the vacant welterweight title. It's finally going to change hands. Jay?
Yeah, this one should be a lot of fun. 2 guys that have serious power. And it'd be nice to see a 5-round title fight where the winner would become a first-time UFC champion. I'm not sure how many times that's happened in history, but it can't be many, other than the initial title fight. In terms of the breakdown, Hendricks certainly has a clear wrestling advantage. We saw how effective he can be with his wrestling in his win over Carlos Condit. Lawler, I think, is a slightly better striker. Power-wise, I think Hendricks probably has the better power, and he definitely has the better chin. Lawler has been troubled with, power strikers in the past. He has been clipped, but, not so much recently. As for cardio, this is a tricky one for me because, if Hendricks really does utilize his wrestling, he could tire out, and that could make the fight pretty competitive if it goes into the championship rounds. But not sure that's going to be the case. Wouldn't surprise me at all if Hendricks does score a knockout here. Maybe even the first round. It seems like he does that in every other fight that he's in. So my lean here is Johnny Hendricks by knockout at plus 115. I think that's pretty good price. I haven't bet that yet. The straight line I think is a bit crazy at at nearly minus 400. I wouldn't play that straight though. But the Hendricks by KO plus 115, that's a strong lean for me.
Brad?
Yeah, this fight, I don't want to say it should be a great fight because I can see it turning into a couple of guys hanging back and really looking for their power strikes. But it's going to be an interesting fight, no matter how it plays out. I do slightly favor Johnny Hendricks because I think you have to favor Johnny Hendricks. The guys are about even on the feet. I give Lawler a slight advantage there, but obviously Hendricks has a big advantage in the wrestling, so I think the most likely outcome is that Johnny Hendricks wins a decision, but on Sunday when the straight line got out of control, Hendricks got up to minus 600. Robbie Lawler got up to plus 450. I did lay 2 units on Robbie Lawler, so I've got that bet, and it's probably going to be something that I can buy out of pretty easily. But I can see how the striking would break down and favor Robbie Lawler in this fight. So I think it's a fairly competitive fight. Maybe 60-40, 65-35 in favor of Johnny Hendricks. Nowhere near what this line indicates right now, though.
MaddDogg.
Yeah, I'm going to keep this short and simple because if you listen to podcasts, this fight has been talked about quite a bit. And I'm picking Johnny Hendricks. I think he's obviously the better wrestler, while Robbie Lawler's a good wrestler. I think Lawler's a better striker, while they're both great strikers. I do predict Hendricks to double up on the left hook and get the takedown. I think this fight will either end in the first or go all the way. And I am picking Johnny Hendricks, but I do have this fight both ways in many, many parlays. But yeah, I'm not just betting it in confidence with big money in either direction. So yeah, Johnny Hendricks pick either first round decision or first round knockout or 5-round decision.
Yeah, I'm with you here, MaddDogg. I could see this going either way. I could see Johnny Hendricks catching him. I could see Johnny Hendricks winning a decision. And here's the thing: this is a big fight. This is a big fight for both guys. This is for the championship. This is for everything you work for. And Johnny Hendricks has a way to completely dominate this fight, and that's with his wrestling. And with what's on the line, line with the UFC belt on the line, and all Johnny Hendricks has to do is shoot a little double leg takedown, and he's going to get Robbie Lawler down all fucking day. I don't see him not doing it. I think Johnny Hendricks is going to take down Robbie Lawler every single round. I think he's going to take him down. I think he's going to be easily heavy on top, be able to stay on top. He's a very underrated grappler. Don't forget, when he needs it, he can use it. The reason we don't see it as much with this wrestling is because he doesn't have to use it, because he's knocking guys out in the first round. If you didn't know, Johnny Hendricks is a 4-time NCAA All-American. I think he's either 2 or 3 times. I think he's a 2-time champ and 3-time finalist. He's an excellent wrestler out of Oklahoma State. He's a great wrestler. His cardio is getting better. People always talk about with his cardio in the Condit fight, but people don't talk about his cardio in the GSP fight. And I know he was a little bit tired at the end, but I think that was more of his hand where he wasn't throwing as much. He wasn't completely gassed out or anything after a really rugged and brutal fight with GSP. So I don't think Robbie Lawler did have some kind of crazy cardio edge here. So I like Johnny Hendricks here. I know a lot of people are talking about the value in Robbie Lawler and Robbie Lawler this, and I think people just want to root for a fun story, and it's not going to happen. Robbie Lawler's not going to be the champ. This is going to be a one-sided beatdown. So I do like Johnny Hendricks here. The line has come down a little bit. I probably will be playing this. I might parlay him with Daniel Pineda or someone else, Bermudez, someone on the card. So it's going to be a pick of Johnny Hendricks here, and he could get a finish. He could not. Still undecided in that, but it is going to be a pick of Johnny Hendricks. So that'll do it for UFC 171. So we got a couple minutes. MaddDogg, I know you have to run, so we'll go through this real quick. So let's first we'll go through the Bellator 112 card. I guess we'll just do we'll do picks besides, I guess, the main event. Is that okay with you, MaddDogg?
Yeah, that's fine.
Alright, so in the welterweight division, we have Paul Bradley versus Nathan Coy. MaddDogg, if you want to say a sentence or two, that's fine too.
Yeah, these two have already fought before. They're split decision. Paul Bradley won. This is competitive. Paul Bradley, you know I love wrestlers, but I think he's the worst kind of wrestler. He just lays on you. I'm actually going for Nathan Coy. Big underdog. Couldn't bet this if I tried.
So you're picking Nathan Coy, huh?
I am.
Brad?
I can't blame MaddDogg for the Nathan Coy pick, but even though Stall Bradley is boring as all sin, I still gotta go with the Stall.
Jay?
I'm going with Coy as well. I'm agreeing with MaddDogg.
And I'm going to go Bradley here. I think he is going to win the fight. I think he's the better grappler and the good lay-in prayer. Next we have Jesse Juarez taking on Adam McDonough. MaddDogg?
Adam McDonough, he's a good striker. He throws spinning back kicks. They're not very exciting, but he has really good power in his feet. His wrestling is not great. His submissions are pretty much non-existent. He hits hard, and Jesse Juarez should absolutely smash here. He's a great wrestler. He's got great submissions, and his strike is good enough to hang. So I like Jesse Juarez at any parlay here you want to throw together, but I actually like the under 2.5 here at plus 110. I have a play, and then Jesse Juarez has a really mean guillotine and a rear naked choke, and I predict him to finish before 2.5 rounds.
Jay? Or, probably Brad?
Yeah, I like Jesse Juarez as well. I think he's an NAIA champion in wrestling. Adam McDonough showed absolutely nothing in terms of wrestling or off his back in his last Bellator fight, and Jesse Juarez is just going to wrestle him all day.
Jay?
I'm going with the experience over the green fighter here, so my pick is Juarez as well.
Yeah, I'm going to go Juarez here as well. And I guess while we're on this side of the bracket, MaddDogg, who wins between Juarez and Coy for you?
Juarez.
Brad, Juarez, and Bradley.
Stall Bradley.
Jay, Juarez, and Coy.
Juarez.
And I'm actually going to go Paul Bradley as well to move into the finals. Then we have, on the other side, we have Andre Kortrijk, actually, wrong way. We have Cristiano Souza versus Sam Oropeza. MaddDogg?
If you don't know Cristiano Souza, he's the guy Bellator wanted to win Fight Master because they're idiots and set up the seed. Basically, first seed gets to pick who he wants to fight. That's why Joe Riggs won. That's why Cristiano Souza fought a medium guy. I don't know. It's stupid. He lost to Evan Cutts, who isn't even that good. So it's a hilarious situation. Sam Oropeza has some power on the feet. Besides that, he's not very good. He's horrible at stuffing takedowns, though he's not terrible at getting back to his feet. He doesn't have any movement whatsoever. If Cristiano Souza would wrestle him for 3 rounds, he could win. The fact that I'm not betting Souza is simply because Sam Oropeza was already in this tournament. He's been training for this tournament. He's already cut the weight. Cristiano Souza's coming in on short notice. He had no notice whatsoever, but he has made the weight, but he has terrible cardio issues, so I'm not going to bet this fight. But I do pick Cristiano Souza because I cannot pick somebody who can be taken down at will. That's not somebody I will ever pick or ever bet on ever in any fight.
Brad?
Cristiano Souza, don't care about this fight.
Jay.
Going with Souza as well, and I echo Brad's sentiments.
Yeah, and I'm also going to go with Souza here. Next up in the welterweight division, we stay there. We have Andrei Korshakov versus Nashon Rock'n'Rolla Burrell.
Nashon Burrell, Strikeforce veteran, decent striker, not so good on the ground. Andrei Korshakov, season, 7 or 6, tournament winner. He got absolutely destroyed by Ben Askren, which, hey, who hasn't? It happens. Unless your name's Jay Huron and he had a bad night, I don't know. It just doesn't happen. And so Andrei Korshakov, don't get that fight wrong. Ben Askren's just amazing. He's still a killer. This fight's a rough call. Andrei actually was opened at negative 420, and now he's down in the negative 300, which I think is insane. But I do predict Andrei Korshakov to win. He is better everywhere, but I have heard rumors of health problems, and I don't want to go into too big of detail because I don't think I'm allowed to. But I'm not betting this fight. I'm not feeling very good about it. I don't know if these rumors are true or not. But picking Andrei Korshakov, but no bet.
Brad.
Nashon Burrell couldn't out-grapple Stephen Thompson, so I've got Andrei Korshakov in this fight, and I've got him in a parlay with Scoggins and Strauss.
Jay.
I like Koreshkov as well. I have him in a parlay with a fighter in the main event, which we'll talk about in a minute.
And I'm also going to go with Korshakov here. And MaddDogg, I'll start with you. Between Korshakov and Souza.
Koreshkov smash.
Brad? Korshakov and Souza.
Russia.
Jay?
Red Dawn. Russia.
I'm also going Korshakov. So now, MaddDogg, for you in the finals, you have Korshakov versus Juarez?
Why do you say Koreshkov? It's Korshkov.
Korshakov.
Lance has trouble with anything not American.
Yeah, I'm fucking American.
It's 3 syllables. Koreshkov.
I can only pronounce top 50 fighters. It's a thing I have. I can only do that.
He might do well. I don't know. His wrestling kind of sucks, though.
He's one of the best Bellator welterweights. I'm just saying I can't pronounce top 50 guys.
Alright. Koreshkov's gonna win. I don't even know why we're talking about this. Unless health issues are a problem right now, but if it's just a rumor, then yeah, he'll be fine.
Brad?
Stahl Bradley's gonna be the new Bellator Ben Askren.
Oh, you're so full of shit.
Jay?
I'm going with the Koreshkov as well.
I'm with Brad here. Paul Bradley is going to make Bellator look hilarious, and Paul Bradley will be the undefeated in Bellator welterweight champion of the world. He's gonna lay on everybody. He's seriously gonna pass out. Like he's gonna lay on everybody.
He's gonna pass out in top control.
I wish I had that segment of Bart Scott saying "can't wait" right now.
He's literally gonna fall asleep on people. It's gonna be excellent. So yeah, we have 2 people. Think of the odds we could get, Brad, if we could bet Paul Bradley today to win the whole tournament.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Hey, can you talk to Nick and see if he can do tournament odds?
I will see what I can do. I will see what I can do.
Nick, if you're listening, which I completely understand if you're not because we're so horrible, if you could do like a tournament odds for Bellator, I think that'd be cool. But, just thinking. And then in the main event, we have Paul Strauss versus, Daniel Strauss versus, I can't talk. Daniel Strauss versus the depressed little kid. I don't remember his name. MaddDogg?
Yeah, I was really surprised in the first fight, as everybody else was. Obviously, Daniel Strauss is amazing. Second. Well, it's not. It is their second fight, but the fact Bellator is calling this a trilogy, even though the first fight was outside of Bellator, I hate the fact they're pushing it as the trilogy, although nobody who's been a hardcore Bellator fan has ever seen the first fight. You have to go on YouTube and look it up. And I had to point that out. I hate that fact. But obviously Daniel Strauss is going to be the more aggressive fighter. He's the better wrestler. I think the Pat Curran we saw last time really resembled the Pat Curran we saw versus Eddie Alvarez, where he really didn't throw for 5 rounds. After he connected, he was aggressive in the first few rounds, but after he connected with that illegal knee, Brad, he just wasn't himself. He wasn't as aggressive throughout the rest of the fight. And I predict him to be a lot more aggressive. He looked in awesome shape. I mean, he had an amazing six-pack as opposed to what he normally has. And Daniel Strauss had a little bit of weight issues. Nothing serious, half a pound for any wrestler. I mean, when a wrestler cuts his hair to make weight, that to me is a red flag. It's also in Pat Curran's backyard. I actually won't be seeing this whole card live. I'm going to be seeing it a few hours later because I'm going to go to a concert. But looking forward to it. It's not very often you see two top 10 featherweights in the world outside the UFC competing, and this is, boring rematch or not, hey, it's a rare situation. I'm actually taking Curran. I'm going to say Curran. I know it sounds stupid, I really do, but I'm rooting for both guys. I love both guys. I think both guys are awesome. I just think Curran gets it back this time, but we'll see. It should be competitive, or at least,
Do you remember last week when MaddDogg said, all the UFC fanboys are going to take LeVar Johnson? I just wanted to bring that up, because now he just picked Pat Curran. So, Brad.
Yeah, this is another fight where people are all like, OMGs, guys. Daniel Strauss missed weight. Oh my god, I can't believe he missed weight. And then he made weight. So, I just find that funny that, I think Bellator is doing this on purpose, honestly, and Daniel Strauss shaving his dreadlocks is all just like a ruse, just to fuck with people, and it's awesome. But anyways, I think we're gonna see the same Pat Curran that we've seen in the second Daniel Strauss fight, that we saw in the Eddie Alvarez fight, that we've seen in every fight that Pat Curran has had in Bellator, where he doesn't throw very much, he gets taken down and controlled by guys like Joe Warren, except for the fact that Daniel Strauss is not Joe Warren. You're not going to throw one shot, one uppercut, one knee, and just, like, completely demolish all of the guy's brain cells. Daniel Strauss has a chin on him. He's going to walk through those shots. He's going to get takedowns. He's going to win. I've got him in a parlay with Scoggins and Koreshkov that I mentioned, and I've also got him straight when he dropped down to minus 140.
Jay.
I'll keep it simple. Strauss via superior brain parlayed with Koreshkov. That's it.
I just really hope, I really hope Curran's okay. I know he's dealing with, some severe depression from getting, royally fucked on TV. He just got fucked. Like, he got fucked on national television. It would have been pay-per-view, so only 1,000 people would have seen it. But since it got to Spike, like, 1 million people saw him get fucked on the ground by this huge dreadlocked black man, which caused severe depression, almost made him retire, and then somehow he has to do it again. And the same thing is going to happen.
Are you hating on interracial porn?
I'm cool with interracial porn. Who's not? But he is going to get fucked again. And I feel bad for him. I'm not going to be watching this card live. I have prior engagements with my wife. But, yeah, he is going to get fucked. And that's my entire – he's going to get fucked really hard on national television again. And I think – I just hope they already got, like, someone to call to check him into some kind of hospital. And I hope he gets the treatment he needs to deal with this. So, yep, he's going to get fucked again, and it's going to cause some major personal issues. But, yeah, Daniel Strauss via fucking. So that's it.
The same way Daniel Strauss would fuck Do Bronx, right? Totally fuck him up. Do Bronx would eat shit against Daniel Strauss. Right, Lance? Right?
Right? We'll never know,
right?
Because a minor league baseball player can't face a major league baseball player at the same time.
No, yeah, that's right.
Neither can a KHL player face an NHL player.
Exactly. It just can't happen. You can have a minor league guy facing a major league guy. It just doesn't work. But anyway, I think that'll do it for the show. So I think we covered everything. We got all the tournament picks and all that good stuff. I actually closed the agenda, so I'm trying to remember what the farewell questions were. Oh yeah, Jay, your question is, who's more annoying, Joe Lunardi or Mel Kiper?
Well, this is an easy one, Lance. Why? It's obviously Lunardi. Kiper is an original. Lunardi is simply an imposter.
Lunardi sucks.
Totally. At least we agreed on something?
He's real suck-ass, that guy. I'm not a fan of his.
Yeah.
Brad,
his accent, too.
Brad, your question is about...
1FC.
Oh, how fucking shitty is 1FC?
It's awful until Ben Askren gets there.
Oh,
yeah.
Why did Baroni leave?
Right.
Whoa.
So-
we need to talk about Phil Baroni for a second here.
Oh, we have a couple things. I gotta say something else too, but, Darian Caldwell's fighting on Bellator prelims. He's fucking awesome. So if you guys are gonna watch that, you should watch him because he's fucking really good. And Phil Baroni is now going to be entering, hopefully after his next fight, the toughest tournament in sports.
Can't wait.
Can't wait.
Phil
No,
Baroni,
it's not.
War Machine for Christy Mack in the cage right there after the fight. Pay-per-view.
I just started a hashtag for it.
Who finishes her faster? That's the question.
I started a hashtag called That's So Bellator, and I think that I think that should go in there.
Christy Mack is the best MMA quote unquote wife. Period.
I like how they always show her on television like she's some kind of famous celebrity everyone
She
knows.
is. Who the hell? Lance, you've been married too long.
Guy, 25 to 35-year-old guys know her, but it's like, could you imagine like
that's the audience. What's wrong with you?
could you imagine watching an NFL game?
What do 25 to 35-year-old guys know besides like working out, drinking, and porn stars? Come on, man.
Just think of it in a real sports world. Let's say we have an NFL game. It like cuts to the stands. It's like, here's Justin Timberlake. Like, here's Bob Costas. Here's Christy Mack. She takes it in the ass for a living.
You're really comparing MMA to the NFL? Oh, Lance, come on.
Would you ever? Do you
The
think
NFL would be a lot more fun if there were more porn stars.
do you really think UFC on Fox would like cut to Christy Mack and be like, Christy Mack's joining us tonight?
They should.
That'd be great. They should.
No,
They should have done that with Tito and Jenna. Come on, they didn't do it though.
That's so Bellator doing that.
Oh, so Bellator. I don't see
Shout
the
out to
problem.
Raven Simone. She had such a promising young career. Whatever happened to her?
Oh, and Matt.
I heard she likes the same gender now.
Oh, and MaddDogg, your question is, what brand of tampons does Pat Curran use? I bet he hung up, didn't he?
I don't know.
I think he hung up.
Covering the Phil Baroni question, he only has a one-fight deal. And,
No, it's a 3-fight deal.
it's a one-fight deal.
3-fight deal.
It's a one-fight deal.
If you don't count
and,
2 of the fights.
Okay.
If you only count one of the 3 fights.
I was okay with it. It's kind of what they did with Carl Parisian.
How could you possibly be okay with them signing Phil Baroni?
Because
Why would
they
it-
signed
why
Carl
would it
Parisian,
sign
Naiba,
because
bro. Naiba.
it instantly skyrockets whoever beats him. They could put him against Michael Page and make Michael Page a star overnight. It's easy.
Why would anybody? Lance, why
Will
would
you
anybody?
motherfuckers let me talk?
No,
goddammit.
no. This deserves to be interrupted. Why would anybody be upset with an organization signing Phil Baroni, Lance? Honestly. Phil Baroni is the truth. He is the answer.
His last best win was against
Who
Nick Nolte,
cares?
the actor.
Who
Do you
cares?
guys follow Phil
It's
Baroni on Twitter?
It's not about skills and stats.
He
It's about
follows one of my
entertainment.
accounts.
Phil Baroni is entertaining.
That's so Bellator.
I'd watch Phil Baroni in a bar fight.
Oh,
Why don't we ever talk about Titan at all? We never
Titans
even
have a
covered
fight
it.
this weekend. When they fight,
We never covered that last event. We didn't talk
we
about
did.
it at all.
We did.
Yeah, we
We talked about the fights. We didn't talk about Titan, their presentation and stuff.
Oh, who
was it
cares?
bad? Was
Well,
it bad?
next time they fight, we'll cover their presentation
Oh,
or
I
their
watched-
presentation or whatever you call it.
I watched it on mute because Stephen Bonner was announcing.
What's wrong with Stephen Bonner now?
I don't
They
like
refuse to look at the camera. Him and the TriStar coach guy, they just stare at each other and talk for 5 minutes. And as an audience member, I felt really awkward, sitting them having this intimate conversation, like I was intruding or something. Like I should walk away.
that. Are you guys having a moment? Should I go?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, that's so Titan. So anyway, if you guys, last thing, if there's at least one person still listening, which I highly doubt, there's probably zero, it's just Jay listening to himself talk at this point. We are having a NCAA March Madness bracket, which I was supposed to put, at the beginning of the show, but I'm an idiot. Sorry, Ivan. But it's $25, NCAA March Madness bracket. Everyone get in it. If you want info, tweet at the MMA Analysis Twitter. You can tweet at me or tweet at Ivan S61 and he'll shoot over the details. But $25, PayPal. Yeah, we did one for football too, so it should be fun. And NCAA wrestling starts next weekend, so that's the real toughest tournament in sports. So you guys check that out. It's about the coolest thing you could ever watch. So that's my outro. So I'll go ahead and kick it over to you first, Jay. Final words here.
Yeah, you can find me at Jay Primetown. Excited for our March Madness pool. I'm taking all you bitches down.
Do you remember when Jay used to go, "It's Jay Primetown, not Jay Primetime"? You guys remember that back in the day?
I do remember.
I was gonna start calling him prime
Hello, boys.
I do it much better, thank you.
Brad, what's up?
Follow me on Twitter at Brad Taschuk, and yeah, that's it.
MaddDogg.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Nate Miller MMA. You can check out my other podcast at Cage Cash. And if you actually made it all the way through this show, bless you. You are a hardcore MMA fan or a little drunk.
That is true, MaddDogg. I hope you have a wonderful birthday and celebration in Seattle. And yeah, wish everyone the best. Thank you for listening, and everyone have a good night.
Can we get a goodbye, boys?
Goodbye, boys.
There's like an explosion in my mouth. It's epic.
Also currently in the process of making shepherd's pie, which MaddDogg ruined.
How do you make that? I mean, is there a bottom? Like the pie? Or is it
Do you
just
have a pie tin? All you gotta do is shit in a pie tin. Just pop it in the oven.
I heard Strauss did that today.
I haven't heard yet. They had to have made it. It's only half a pound.
I heard he shaved his dreadlocks.
Yeah, he shaved his dreadlocks before weigh-ins because he knew it was going to be over. That's desperate because that's 0.2. Maybe 0.1. Even dreadlocks would only be 0.2.
You think if there was a Jewish fighter he would shave his dreadlocks to make weight?
Maybe.
You call those dreadlocks?
I don't know. Lance would know more about that.
Not really.
Brad might know more about that.
What? Dreadlocks?
Yeah, the Jew-locks.
You mean the little ringlets?
I don't know. They have a name.
You know.
What is?
The Jews get up in the morning and they curl their sideburns. You know.
Yeah, that wouldn't weigh anything. A real Jew would shave everything but that.
That's true.
Alright, I'm starting the show because I don't want to talk to you guys.
What? You're a liar. Red Talk doesn't even wife.
You guys ready?
You know we're the only friends you have.
God damn it!
You better put that in the outros, Brad.
I'm about to have dead friends if you guys don't shut the fuck up. Alright.
Whatever you say, Mitchell.
Just stop talking.
Fuck off, Lance.
Fuck off, Lance! We were supposed to do this show quick because MaddDogg has something to do, and it's literally the latest we've gone in MMA analysis history.
You don't listen.
I gotta go. I really do go.
Yeah, I gotta go too. So peace
Lance,
out.
if you actually read our conversation, you would have known to go faster instead of spending an hour on Strauss fucking.
First of all, you went way longer.
First of all, GFY, I'm out.